Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Well, it's Thursday, so it's my little story day, Fortune and the Woodcutter. Once there was an old woodcutter who lived with his wife on the edge of the forest, and although he had 3 sons, and at one time they had 3 times as many hands to work, but it's also 3 times as many mouths to feed. So once they grew up, they had to go and make their own way. And Fortune didn't smile upon the woodcutter or his wife at that point. They just scrambled to get by. One day the woodcutter, he woke up and said, you know what, I've been chasing Lady Luck my whole life, and nothing has been given to me. So if she wants to bestow any kind of fortune upon me, she'll have to do it because I'm not working another day in my life. Well, his wife calls him down for breakfast, and he says, I told you I'm not working another day in my life. Lady Luck can come to me if she wants. So he said, oh my God, lazy loafer. So she goes out to tend to the animals, and while she's feeding the animals and getting ready, a stranger comes by and says, I noticed that your mule over there is not doing anything. Could I rent the mule? So she thinks, well, my husband's not doing anything to make us any better off. So yes, she can. Rents the mule, and she doesn't know this guy's the thief. Takes the mule out to the middle of the forest where there's a buried treasure, digs it up, puts it on the saddlebags, and he's about to leave when the king's guard comes marching by. And he knows that his face is on every single wanted poster all over the country. So he just leaves the treasure there and skedaddles out of there so he can save his life and not get arrested. And then in a long time or a short time, whatever time it takes in these stories, the donkey's there realizing nothing's happening. And since the donkey knows the ways of the forest, he's been there his whole life working with the woodcutter. He meanders back to the house, and the wife calls down to the husband, hey, the donkey's back, and help me come and unload the saddlebags. He said, I told you I'm not getting out of my bed for the rest of my life. I'm not working at all. So she says, oh boy. So she gets the knife, and she slashes the saddlebags open. It falls off the donkey, and all of a sudden the treasure pours out. She says, come down, take a look at this. And now they're rich for the rest of their life. Wow, what an interesting idea. But it's not like he's lazy and didn't deserve it. He worked his whole life. And so because of that, in some way, he actually set up the return, the karmic rebound. Anyway, interesting story. Sometimes you're active, and sometimes you're passive, and you got to let it come to you, right? All right, for my journaling friends today, what are your gifts? Come on. It's okay to wax eloquent about the stuff that you're carrying with you that's of surpassing excellence and that you're the poster child for that. Let me know where you think you shine, and I'll be glad to tell you what I think about my own life. Okay. Now, my teacher, B.K. Iyengar, always says your body is your capital, and for most people, it's an underutilized capital. So if you're not going to do yoga, all right, I can just give you a really quick tip. Don't slump. Put your chin up and back. And see how that doesn't compress your diaphragm. You see, when you're slamming down like that, you can't even breathe. And when there's pressure in your stomach, pressure in your diaphragm, pressure in your abdomen, your breathing won't be natural. And if your breathing is not natural, there'll be strain on your heart. But when the breathing is natural, it's less strain on your heart. That's the quickest tip I can give you to move ahead from there. Now, for all my friends who are following the path of aging and trying to make the most out of your aging process in a world where sometimes older people are overlooked, we are wisdom keepers. We are committed to keeping contemplative skills alive in ourselves, number one, and then safeguarding tribal survival by passing that along to the younger generation. And one of the things I suggest is once you get to a certain age, it's time to start harvesting your life experience, gathering the fruits of everything you've done, and enjoying them in your older age. So appreciate the friendships you've nurtured, the young people you've mentored, the wider involvement you've had in your community, your nation, and ultimately the earth, and feel good about that. Now, Michael Meade, one of my male mentors, reminds me all the time that although there could be chaos and uncertainty in the world right now, the ending of one world often leads to the beginning of another. But only if you can accept the full burden of the grief, the loss, and the disorientation that comes from having to let go. Because that's what accompanies the new birth. So what I say to people is commit yourself to something specific, pick a note and perfect it, Leave the familiar behind. It's always easy to claim you know the truth, but then to gamble it all and let it go so you can be closer to the real roots of your being, not so easy. Each of us starts somewhere, and each of us stumbles along the way somewhere. Now, the first part of the Eightfold Path, according to the Buddha, is right view, which means letting go of all conceptualizations that freeze your ideas. We all have frozen ideas. They're not going anywhere. And it seems that clinging to that, as opposed to letting go of that. Otherwise, you hold on to your own ideas and you try to convert everybody into that. But once you know that situations are the voice of the Guru, there's no instructions really on how to be. Just give up self-doubt by embodying the teaching, which has the values that you want to be the truest to. Then your spirituality just becomes simple appreciation of the world. Appreciative consciousness is the way to find love. And of course, when you stop looking for something else, the way you see everything changes. So don't get sidetracked of the promises of something up ahead. It's like driving on the highway. You got 300 miles to go, and there's all these exit signs: food, lodging, gas, scenic view. Very nice to stop for a while, but eventually you got to get back on the road and continue. So affirm positive things in your life. What thoughts dominate your vibration? Because then you'll see, is there a correlation between the thoughts you dwell on an ongoing basis and how your life turns out? I know there is. So talk to your subconscious mind in the same manner you talk to a friend or to anybody, because thoughts will arouse the latency that's in you. So claim that a kind of infinite intelligence, your own DNA, is leading you forward, and remember that whatever you give your attention to is activated within you and has further reaches in affecting your life experience. Next Friday, 16th of August, 23rd of August, and 30th, I'll be teaching 3 workshops on low back, neck and shoulders, and hips and knees at Chai Yoga, 1942 North Levitt. Come and join us from 2 to 5 on Saturday. If you have any problems with poses, I'll try to use whatever expertise I have to show you how to get a handle on it and deal with any kind of pain and discomfort that you have. So, look forward to seeing you then. Have a great day.